Hello everyone, I'm Mr. Van Dusen. Most of my students call me Mr. V. Let me tell you a story. My wife and I spent several years teaching with Mrs. Snyder at EMIS in North Carolina. We now live in Spokane, Washington, which is 2,498 miles from Mooresville. The school I teach in here is in the 9 Mile Falls School District. It is named that because it is 9 miles from Spokane along the Spokane River, and yes, there was a waterfall there. But that was before a dam was installed to make electricity and create Long Lake. A lot like Lake Norman, where you live. I was going to read you a story from a book, but thought you might like a tall tale from a local author here in the 9 Mile Falls area. This week, someone posted a question on our community Facebook page that was different from the lost and found dog posts we usually see. It all started when a bathtub magically appeared along the shores of the lake. Everyone wanted to know how it got there and where it came from. It is winter here and we have snow on the ground, so a bathtub along the lake here is something you don't see in the winter, or in the summer for that matter. Our lake, like many others, has stories about creatures that live and hide in the lake. This is the sad story of a lake mermaid and lost love. The pictures you see are from Lake Spokane and the Spokane River near where the tub was found. You can see how easy it would be to let your imagination run wild. After you hear this tall tale, I challenge you to write your own story about the tub along the lake. Our author today is Cecilia Grace Charles. She is a published author that lives here in our community. She does all her own artwork for her books. We provided pictures from the area for this story, however. I have also included information on one of her published books if you would like to read more of her stories. I'll put that at the end. The story, The Bathtub. There once was a lovely mermaid who resided in the lake. One of your neighbors fell in love with her from afar. Amazing colors from head to toe, she sparkled when she came out of the water. Long, flowy hair, skin that glistened like the pearlized scales on the trout that lived in the lake. She was breathtaking to him. Every day he went down to the lake to see her. It took months for her to trust him. Finally, one day she trusted him enough to let him draw near, only for him to realize how his beloved was simply covered in the fauna below the water line of the lake. His disappointment was great, but still very much in love with the ideal he first saw, he chose to accept her peculiarities. Several years went by, and every year he became even more entranced. Finally, he decided to bring her home. He knew, though, just how mean some people are, so he worked out an idea in his head on how to do this. He would bring a tub down to the lake, and bucket by bucket he would fill it with fresh water and invite her to sit with him in the clean water. By now, she seemed to care so much she did just as he asked as he lifted her into the tub. He was thrilled. She began to make quiet but persistent little sounds as dusk fell. He was so soothed he fell asleep in her embrace. Several hours later, the full moon woke him up. Freezing, he looked around, only to see his love had melted into a puddle of leftover weeds from the bottom of the lake. The fresh water had dissolved her completely. In shock, he abandoned the tub, slinking home and thankful no one knew his infatuation was nothing more than a collection of rotten lake debris come to life in his mind through his loneliness. He left the tub behind.